Hey, Spec Streaming or Demonst Alliance, it's me, Spec over there. Convention of video. In this video, I am doing part 2 of turning the Outhouse characters into dragons. In this video, I use King and turn him into a Drake, Gus into an Antifair, which I finally draw nearly correctly for once, and Willow into a Wyvern, which I later state is one of my favorite designs thus far. So without further ado, let's roll and draw, and let's get into this video, and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, so I'm going over some more dragons from the Bullion Isles, which is, like I stated again, is about 30 miles away from the borders of the Jura Tempest Forest. So, the Jura Forest. So, yeah, and these are actually some pretty interesting dragons. This first one is literally, I'm not kidding, I'm not joking you, it's literally known as the creature name as Cute Little Demonic Prince Drake, or the Demonic Prince Drake. That's because they are usually the heirs to armies of legions of demonic dragons, or just full-on demons. So, yeah. And when they're older, they actually somehow use magic and evolve into the demonic king drakes. And that form they are more akin to wyverns, more akin to wyverns actually. It's a really interesting. They're also known to have broken horns on one head at all times. It's like a rite of passage for them. But then they're known to somehow regrow that into a different color. They have spikes running along them down their back, and they have tough of them scales that look something like a collar. And they wear something like a bone shape, which is actually just very thick and different colored scales and a little bit of bone poking out. They're that's actually their upper head, and the little part around there is actually their lower mouth. So yeah, and they also have some bone colored claws on them. Man, to be honest, these things are kind of cute, but their size is staggering. For someone that's a Drake, Drakes are pretty big usually. This thing is no bigger than the size of a Great Dane. Yeah, you heard me. These things are the size of a Great Dane, and Drakes are usually triple that. That's your average Drake. There are Drakes bigger than that, but and these things are known not to have a breath weapon, but they are pretty fast and act like cats. That's just weird in general. But put it lightly, there's a lot of weird things on the Bullion Isles. But there is actually more interesting facts about them. But that's really all I can think off the top of my head right now. So, see ya. Okay, so design-wise, I actually really like how this one turned out. The way the ice is shaped, I'm thinking maybe this one is running away from a predator. And I forgot to mention that the thing does have a sonic screech, like King does from the outhouse. But it's actually a lot more high frequency, which can make your eardrums bleed. But meh. And the size of a Great Dane, I just said that because I just realized how big the legs are. And I just overall really like how the design of this one turned out. Now, the overall idea was just kind of a pain in the butt to finish. Well, just this one video alone was kind of, because the last one was a pain in the butt, not this one. This one was just somewhat simple, sorry. But some of these There's only 3, like I stated. But some of these are going to have a little bit of this of my notes and just me talking, and some of it's gonna have a little some, and one of them is maybe gonna have none. I don't really know yet. So yeah. Designs. I realized I made the legs too large while sketching the traditional art version of it. So I had to erase and redraw the leg a little bit shorter. And I decided to have one going upwards. And I'm realizing I made one longer by accident, if you will look at it fully. But I'm thinking, maybe it's because you are looking at from this angle. So yada 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 would happen. I'm actually thinking that's reasonable. So without further ado, let's get to the next one. Now the next one we're going to be talking about is actually a amphisphere, known as the Porter Illusions Amphisphere, or Illusions Amphisphere for short. These ones are known to be a little interesting on the account that they don't have a breath weapon. They don't breathe the mist of illusions. But matter of factly, they actually, well, how do you put this? Shoot it from their tail. I looked at the after one died recently, I went to the corpse to inspect it to see if there's any nasty curses in the thing. You'll be surprised how many curses there is on a dragon after it dies. It's my job to clean them up. But anyways, I went to the corpse and looked into it and used my magical sight to see I could see the veins where the magic was, but I couldn't really tell how the magic got out. Matter of fact, microscopic little holes are actually on the end of the tail. And there's just a little sack of magic right there. So, just waiting for it to go out. So it can make illusions. And one of its most favorite illusions is making golems appear out of nowhere. They can be any golem they have seen, or anything they think of, really. That's what makes them such a powerful dragon, in my opinion. They have the ability to make you see what they want you to see. But whatever they don't want you to see, they can make into a reality. But these things, like I stated, are known to be found in the Nile. They are also known to be found in areas near the sometimes actually known to be flying over the areas of places like the Americas and weirdly China. It's really fucking far from here in China. Just goes to show that usually those are a few thousand years old. The average wingspan is actually 20 feet, while the full biome is actually only around, how do you say this, 10 feet long. So, yeah, and their stream of blue illusion magic can actually stretch to be around maybe a mile away. And matter of factly enough, they have the ability to see through their illusion. Not like just see through it, which is all what they can do, but they're also able to actually see through the eyes of it, like with a living creature. They're also known to be able to make auditory hallucinations by using the same magic. They can also use it to make your sense of touch and feeling go haywire. Like, let's say their illusion were to touch you, it wouldn't be a solid touch, but using the magic, they can actually make it feel like it's touching you, which, trust me, can be quite a horrifying idea. And those are for ones that have grown older and have gained more control over their powers in general. But don't let that fear you. Do not let that idea of fear roll over you because they're actually quite friendly. They're actually known to become friends with the glyph-using Spanish wyvern. So, yeah, they're relatively friendly. Let's get to the next one and the last one today. Now, this one took me a little bit to come up with. I was trying to figure, I had to trim the body because I made it a little crooked, like a little worm. And I realized that I wasn't really drawing anti-fierce correctly. So I decided to go with the idea of the tail end on it. So it came out to be a pretty interesting idea in general. But the execution, I want to say, I could have done better. But now for that illusion bit, I drew it in segments. What I did was I added like 5 other layers after getting done with the dragon alone, because that took a little bit of time. I then drew in and colored each part with a bucket tool and the inking tool. And then I went down and adjusted it from upwards each time until I got an image I liked. Which, trust me, this was a little pain to deal with. But that's really the only technique I majorly used. Now, let's get to the next one and last one of today's video. Now, this last one is a wyvern. A really interesting wyvern at that. Known as the plant controlling park wyvern, or plant controlling wyvern. They are pretty much your standard wyvern. They have green wings, which symbolizes their invisible in house, which symbolizes their ability to control plants. They have a green stripe going down like a V onto either side of them. They have green scales, a dark gray body, and their legs are actually a darkish green color. And their scales are like and they are wings. The actual skin of their wings are actually a turquoisey looking green color. And their head is a bluish green color. It's hard to put it, but their spikes on their up on the top of their head, on the lower part of their head, around their jaw, or behind their jaw, are actually something very similar to a like more of a more organic looking green. They can actually be found around in the mountains of the Bowling Isles. But the people that control magic like this one are, how do you put it, very in tune with the plants they control. They also have a tail end on them, which, for the record, I only inspected the corpses of these. If they're aggressive dragons, that's the ones I kill. I inspected the corpse of it. I was really interested in the tail, because I knew this one didn't have a breath weapon, and it could sprout up plants wherever it walks. So I looked at it, and the magic actually flew down to the brain. Had a pretty big, like a bile sac looking thing around there near their heart. Matter of fact, all these ones have to. And it went down to the feet, and then went down into the tail, but it didn't sprout out anywhere. It just stopped and just was a very double the size of the bile sac looking thing, and the magical pot looking part. And after hijacking it and cutting off the tails, I connected, after removing some other surgeries, I removed the bile sac from the heart, I attached it to and fired it with some magic. And then plants sprouted from the tail. I also studied some while looking at it through my magical eyes, and I saw that it was just pretty much just storing plant magic in there, and it could summon it up anytime it wanted. But that's all I got for today. Okay, so for the design notes, like like the traditional sketch suggests, I had a little bit of a hard time designing how I wanted this dragon to look. Originally, I was thinking somewhere on the long lines of a body like soaring down, like soaring across the sky, but couldn't really get it done correctly, so I scrapped that one. Then I made the wings too long on the first try. Well, second try, made the made the wings too short. Then I made them a weird shape, and I finally got the wings design I wanted. Made the legs too short then, and I decided to cock them back a little, which kind of works for it. The tail, I had that idea for a minute, then I decided on how I wanted to design it, and that's how you got it. Now, for the colors, like the video shows, I used a reference photo of what it looks like and I always do for characters. I use some reference art for the colors, but more or less sometimes for the poses too. I've been trying to draw different poses on different times myself, and I think it's come along pretty well. And well, I really like how this one turned out. By far, it's gotta be my favorite wyvern drawing. So yeah, that's all for the drawings for today. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time I got for today's video. Until next time, subscribe to Adrian Spikes to me or the Muscle Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.